Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Today we're going to keep things simple because we've got a lot going on. We've got Cascade sent us red raspberry Belgian candy syrup. Basically a light candy syrup with raspberries added. So we're going to do that at flame out. The last one I did, we actually did right in the last 5 minutes of the boil. So each time I want to try something a little different. Next one I'll probably add during the height of the fermentation. I was very torn. I was going to do a raspberry blonde and pitch 570, which is a White Labs Belgian yeast, very common in blonde ales and a lot of the Belgian beers. But instead, I think we're going to try to do a Kveik yeast, or Kveik, basically Norwegian style yeast. I pitched the Javaro before and realized it was just a farmhouse. Even though it has a lot of similarities to Kveik, it's not technically a Kveik based on the strain. So this time we're actually going to pitch Arset, unless I change my mind at the last minute because I've got 4 of them going. But Arset has pineapple, mango, lots of tropical flavors, which I think will complement the red raspberry, especially with the acidity that red raspberry or raspberries bring. It should come out amazingly nice. The other key was, did I want to go somewhere around 7%, which I consider kind of the magic number for a lot of beers, and I know I've heard of that from other breweries. Well, after I had already said it myself, so I didn't really learn it from anyone else. It's just, I noticed things like Cigar City, their highlight, Two Hearted from Bell's, the list goes on. There's tons of amazing, Sculpin, Ballast Point, amazing beers sitting right around that 7%. So I was thinking going around 6.8 because we know these Kveik yeasts sometimes ferment considerably more than they say they will. So you could end up somewhere at 7.3 even if you were shooting for 6.8. So instead, I brought things down and kind of went on the low side of the original gravity for a Belgian style, but still sticking to the blonde ale as far as compared to like the American or the Belgian styles. We're only doing 9 pounds of Pilsner. I got more Pilsner because I have exactly 9 pounds left, so I'm going to need to replace that. Looking to do a stout, so we got some Maris Otter, amazing in stouts. We're going to do 1 pound of Munich, and then we're going to add this, like I said, at flame out. And I'm looking just to use Centennial at about maybe 30 minutes in to give us an IBU around 22, 23 points. So that should give us an amazing beer. Please don't forget, hit subscribe, like. Thank you again for sharing. And we've got some other things going on today, other than I discovered something this morning that when you talk real close to this and it's sitting on top of your kegerator, it creates a nice echo. But for anybody out there with the Anvil Foundry, this is a small batch adapter. We're not really doing a small batch. It is on the lighter side, but it's not a small batch. I have a theory. As you can see all the lovely holes in the bottom or on the side, we block those holes off. We should be able to increase our efficiency. I'm not using any wheat today. We're not using any rye, anything, oatmeal, any kind of thing that should clog it. We'll still put a little bit of rice hulls in there to be safe. The water profile we're keeping very balanced, just doing 2.4 grams of gypsum, 0.3 of, they say table salt. I use canning salt, don't use table salt with iodine. 1.9 grams of Epsom salt and 3 grams of calcium chloride. So very light colored, balanced yellow beer. Water profile, nothing fancy there. The other piece, there's some users out there on the Anvil Foundry under Facebook, one particular user, and he's talking about making sure that your pH is just right. I try to watch the pH, but today I'm gonna watch it extremely well. I got this a little while back. I like it because a lot of the pH meters I've gotten that are cheap suck. They do. Is called Dr. Meter, pH meter. Already calibrated, already tested it out last night, so we're good to go on that today. We'll watch it if for some reason, because I'm not adding any acid malt, if our pH is a little on the higher side, I have some lactic acid, we can add a little bit of that during the mash, see how things are going, and we'll test it throughout the entire time. But the goal here is to see if we can't get our efficiency up as much as possible. We're kind of in the middle there on the grains because the Anvil is initially designed between 8 and 16 pounds. So sitting right there at about 10 pounds exact, pretty close to the middle, maybe on the low side, but hey, we'll see how it goes. Let's get brewing. So we're at 150, 151. We're mashing it at 150. Brewing salts. I don't remember what I was forgetting, but now I remembered my stirring spoon. Okay, I want to show you this because, yeah, I'm accident prone and scrape my hand open a little bit, but as you can see, I have the small mash adapter in there, or small batch adapter, whatever you want to call it. What you do is you have to pinch it, pull it out. It may not fit perfectly. If it doesn't fit perfectly, you're gonna have to kind of adjust it a little bit. I had a huge gap. Be careful. Every little adjustment goes a long ways. That's all I'm saying. Don't go nuts. And then you gotta make sure that you get the blank spot right here, because you're trying to block the holes, and no reason to block a blank spot because there's a little bit of a gap. And of course, I'm missing the blank spot. Go back around. There we go. So you can see it's in there. Not perfect, but pretty damn close. So that should work. We'll try it out. I gotta get the spoon so we can get that all stirred up, and we'll mash in. Got our stirred pieces. Okay, we're gonna lower this in. It's 86 degrees out here. Feels like 92 according to the weather service. Feels like 96. And humidity is at 80%. That's why it feels like really hot. Okay, let's get mashed in. See if we can do it fast style. I'm gonna drill more holes through there, but I did not have the right tools to get a really good hole drilled. I'm not exactly a tool person, so I buy tools as I need them, and obviously I don't have the right tools for that at this time. It's my Thai hot pepper plant. Got a couple of those over there with lots of other plants, but that one's doing really, really well right now. Needs a little more fertilizer, starting to get all the yellow leaves. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. We're at 158. Mashed in at 150. I'm a little upset there. So we can bring our power down. We had mentioned that before. Get down to 80% for now, and we may have to take it back up to 85, but it's still climbing. Starting to really get me annoyed. Once you get up, you can't come down technically as far as enzymes. So let's get the pump going, recirc, see if they adjust the temp. Somebody had a good idea, so I'm wondering if it'll work. You don't want your flow rate on this to be too high, so you put the restrictor on. His comment was, why don't you just adjust it here? Well, initially you have to turn it full to kind of prime the pump, but after that you shouldn't have to. So let's try it. Okay. There we go. So we got a nice, huge flow rate that we don't want. Let's reduce it. Reduce. Well, that appears to be working just great. Okay, you don't need this. Just use that. And if it starts bubbling or getting weird, we can always put this on, but I think he's onto something. Just didn't think about it. Sometimes the fixes are so simple, you just don't realize it. Okay, we'll go 90 minutes and hopefully we'll see that come down. That's a little troubling. I'm gonna bring it down a little more just for now on the temp, or for the power, until it starts dropping, and then I'll bring it back up as needed. Okay, so it's been 75 minutes. I've had to keep the power down around 65. I just had it back up to 70 and it started getting up again. Only thing difference today is the small grain bill adapter, which really we're using it to see if we can increase our efficiency. I did have to make some adjustments. Added 5, I believe, milliliters of lactic acid. That lovely stuff. So took us from 5.62 pH to 5.42 pH. We want to be between 5.2 and 5.6. So 5.62 is really not that bad, especially with no acid malt. But I want it to be somewhere in the middle, just for the test of the efficiencies. So we're there. I'm going to kick this up to 168, give it about 10 minutes, then sparge, which we got to get that heating up. Okay, as you can hear, our neighbors are already mowing. I knew that was going to happen. Tried to get an early start. Never touch the steel. It will burn you. I keep forgetting. Okay, let's see if we can do this on the first try. Some days I want to kill the person who came up with this little design. Quite literally. we go. We got the sparge water heating up. I'm gonna kick this on up and we'll let that drain for a little bit as the sparge water's heating up. And then we'll pour it over and we'll rock on. Pull the malt dust off there. Sparge, and let's see if we can do this without burning ourselves. Okay, we'll let that drip. And once we get ready for a boil, we'll be back. Okay, our boil just started. Almost had a boil over. I was inside checking some pHs and came running back out, but it looks like we're good. So we're gonna let that go for a full 90, and before the 90's up, of course, last 30 we'll drop the 1 ounce of Centennial. Pretty set on that. I could change it the last minute, but you never know. So we'll let that go. Okay, we got about 12 minutes left in the boil, and I know I was supposed to have a 30-minute addition. I overbought on hops, so I just figured get a little more flavor towards the end. And just add 2 ounces Centennial at the last 12 minutes, which will put me right about 25 IBUs, which we're looking between 20 and 30, so 25 is dead center, which is where I kind of want it to be anyways, or close to. Okay, got about 12 more minutes. That means I need to get a little wort, get ready. Between the yeast nutrient and the super moss that we're gonna be putting in there, which has to be added to chilled wort. I gotta get a little bit and chill it down real quick. Dropping in our last 5-minute additions. Already got it set up. It's been sitting in there for a minute. Need to get it chilling. Cloud goes over the sun. It seems kind of nice and hot. When the clouds are not over the sun, it's just crazy hot. Okay, temperature's dropping quick. Let's get the agitation going. Lazy style. Oh, crack. Forgot to add this to flame out, but you know what? This is what happens. You screw up, things happen. It'll be fine. We just got to get it stirred in. Okay, so the Arset Kveik yeast likes around 82 degrees, so we're going to drop it down a little more right here. If I get really cold really fast, but that's okay. I set up this little contraption to see if I can't filter out a little bit more of the sediment when I crush the grains a little more on the fine side. Seems to be working. I guess we'll see, but it's a test. You live, you learn, try new things, see what works. We'll rock and roll. Really excited. We captured 5.25 gallons, which is what we were expecting, and that's what we had in our beer smith. Was expecting about a 73% efficiency. The system said 77.6 was what it was looking for. 85%. 85%. We didn't use any acid malt or anything like that. Our pH was 5.62 when we first started mashing in, and that was at about maybe 10 minutes into the mash. Cooled it down, cooled the sample down, took the pH. Immediately I added 5 milliliters of lactic acid because I wanted to push it down, because the range is you want to be 5.2 to 5.6, and we're right on the fringe of just outside of that, but safe. So I pushed it down to 5.42. And between 5.42 on that, going in about 20 minutes of a 90-minute mash, and then on top of that, using the adapter that's still sitting out there filled with grain that I got clean, to restrict the flow so it didn't go out the sides, forcing the wort to go straight down and not go out the sides and come back around. I just got better brew house efficiencies with the Greenfather in that general design, so I felt it would work. And it definitely, I think both helped a lot. Okay, we have our ARSET, Kveik, however you want to say it, yeast. Even the Norwegians seem to say it differently based on where you are and who you talk to. So, get my magnet because of the stir bar in the bottom. Pull the little middle piece out. I was trying to filter out a little, got a little bit more gunk. That was when I aerated. I just dumped the one keg boy into, or carboy into this carboy, and we're all good. Okay, started the starter last night with just I mean, literally maybe a 1/10 of a gram. I mean, almost nothing, and it is kicking. Woke up this morning and had froth way up high, so put the magnet on there. I don't want to pitch very much. They said don't over pitch. So it's probably more than enough. So we're sitting, I think our gravity is at 1.0. I don't even remember now. I don't even know, I have to look. But either way, I'll post it up there. And we're gonna put this in the fermenter. Actually, I need to clean a tilt and I'll drop a tilt in here and we'll throw it in the fermenter. Let's put this on top just to keep it nice and clear. And we'll crank the heat up on that fermenter, get it up maybe around 85, close to 90, maybe 95, see what it does. Actually, I might push 95. I really want to get a lot of flavors. So, see how it comes out. Thank you again for joining us on Bitter Reality Brewing. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you again for your support.